Welcome to the Collide Kids Podcast, hosted by Christen Clark. This is a show for kids and families. You are going to meet new people and have fun while you listen. Let's do it!
Hey y'all, welcome to the Collide Kids Podcast. I'm your host, Christen Clark. The Collide Kids Podcast is a show for kids and families where we learn together how life and faith collide. I'm so grateful that you're listening today. I'm learning to be grateful right now. I don't know if that's hard for you or easy for you, but sometimes we get discouraged. So it's good to be reminded of the things that we're grateful for. So let's see. I'm grateful you're listening today. I'm grateful for good food. I'm grateful for my family. I'm thankful for Jesus. I'm grateful for a lot of things that I have that I usually take for granted. So it's so good to say it out loud. How about we do that right now? Let's say out loud something that we're grateful for. Ready? On the count of 3, you say something out loud that you're grateful for. 1, 2, 3. Wow, those are some great things to be grateful for. I'm also grateful for the kids only segment. That's my favorite part of the show. That's the part where you guys get to be a part of the podcast by sending me your recordings of your best jokes and your favorite Bible verses and fun things like that. So I hope you'll stay tuned and listen. We've got some good ones today. But before we get to that, I want to introduce you to my special guest. His name is Irvin Archaga. He's originally from San Peñafort Sula, Honduras. I hope I said that right. And then he moved to the United States 18 years ago. He graduated from Can Zion Institute of Music with a degree in music and worship arts, and then he became a part of the staff after graduating and later became the director for the music school. Their vision is to develop the next generation of worship leaders for the Hispanic community. He has over 10 years of experience leading worship, and he and his wife have 3 girls, Michaela, Ivana, and Rebecca. I'm so excited to introduce you to my friend today, Irvin Archaga. All right. Hola, mi amigo.
Hello.
Hey, Irvin, it's so good to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's good to be here with you guys.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're on the show, and I'm so glad we get to talk today. So why don't you introduce yourself and just tell everybody who you are?
All right, my name is Irvin Archaga Munoz. But you probably remember my last name, Munoz, better than Archaga.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I learned that people like that. Think that better.
Yeah.
Munoz, yeah. Yeah, I'm a father of 3. I'm originally was born in Honduras and being in the States for about 19 years now.
Very
And
cool.
my wife, I married my wife, she's from Peru. So we both been in the United States about the same time. Now we got 3 little girls. My oldest, Michaela, 7, Ivana, 3, and baby Rebecca, she is 8 months.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
You have a great family. And tell us what you do.
Thank you. I'm the director for a Christian music school. It's a Hispanic ministry that's been around for about over 25 years, 27, 28. Yeah. So it started back in Mexico, and it kind of, as time went by, it grew up all around and spread out all around the world. Actually, we have schools in Europe. We got 9 schools in the United States and a lot of schools in Latin America. So yeah, I'm part of that ministry.
That's awesome. That's a really cool ministry. So that school started in Mexico and then it spread.
It's spread out, yeah. Well, I've been part of the school for about 15 or 16 years. And the founder, he originally is from Georgia. They were missionaries. His family were missionaries in Mexico.
Okay.
And he grew up having, his name is Marcos. So he grew up having a musical education, and eventually he became like a very well-known and a very influencer worship leader for the Hispanic community. And, his sister has this vision to, put a music school together where they can kind of train the next generation of worshipers. And yeah, and here I am.
That's amazing. So what do you do at the school?
Well, I'm in charge with the team. I'm in charge of the logistics, the staff, kind of coordinating. We have devotionals every Saturday for us. Devotional is a big deal. Also the hiring of the staff, carrying the vision of the school. It's very important for us to continuously remind us what we are about. Why we here in Georgia, why we do what we do. And that's my role. Take the leadership of the school and keep the vision going. Yeah,
that's amazing. You talk about the school being for raising up a generation of worship leaders, and that's actually how you and I know each other. Is we led worship together a few times, so that was really cool that we got to do that. And then, so you teach. Is it like young people or is it adults or?
We have a very interesting mix between, we have a programs for teenagers and adults. Mm-hmm. So we do both, teenagers and adults. And then right now I'm teaching the Bible classes because our school, what's different from what we do to other music schools is that we have, it's a ministry program. So basically anyone who wants to come, they're going to learn the instrument they want to learn. They learn music theory. They learn how to play in bands, like we put like band ensembles, and they how to play with click tracks, multi tracks, and you can go as far as you put work for it. And then we have the Bible class. The Bible class is very essential for us. It is divided in 4 semesters, and it's really interesting, and I'm very honored to be part of it. It's a great ministry, and we love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be the difference for a music school that's training worship leaders is, you're learning the music, you're learning the instrument, but you're also learning the Bible.
Yeah.
And you need that to stand on stage in a church and to be a worship leader. You really have to know what God's word says so that you can translate that to the people and to their worship. Tell us about being a worship leader. What does it take, or what is it like to be a worship leader?
It is how I think I can say how I started, so I can get there.
Okay.
When it's gonna be okay. I keep it short. Okay, I promise. But I started serving in church. I was the sound guy. I just wanted to serve in church. I wanted to do something, and I was praying, and I told God, I want to serve you. And then I remember having a clear picture of get into the sound. Like I hear this voice kind of guiding me to get into the sound, serve the sound. And I did that. So I got the training, started serving 100% there at the church where it was back then. And then after a year, I felt like I needed to do more. And I remember that the worship band was practicing that day. They didn't have an acoustic guitar. And I said, God, I wanted to do more. What's next for me? When I saw that the band didn't have acoustic guitar, I said, I'm going to work. I'm going to save some money. I'm going to buy me one and see. And I think that, the thing that really changed my life about it was when I came with my guitar for the first time to the worship team. The guy who was my music director back then, he saw me and he gave me a set of the songs, a copy of the songs with the chords. And he was like, here's your music. I didn't know what it was, because it was my first time with a guitar, so I couldn't read chords or anything like that.
Oh, so you didn't know what that meant?
No, I didn't know what that meant. So, but it was very meaningful to me, because since day one, he started seeing me as a musician. And for me, I just bought a guitar and I don't know what to do with it. Yeah.
So how old were you when you started in sound?
I was about 24.
Okay.
24, yeah.
And then a year later, you decided I'm going to do more, and so you bought a guitar, and so that was the first time that you started playing guitar.
Yeah. So practicing. We didn't have YouTube back then. We didn't have, everything, all the cool stuff that we get today, application, and it wasn't a thing back then. So
you really could learn any instrument or any, at least the beginning part on YouTube. Like, you can learn so much on YouTube. So that's true. You had to kind of figure it out.
Yeah. Now you have how to peel a banana,
How to peel banana. I learned how to cut my husband's hair, with clippers. I'd never done that before. So I went on YouTube and I'm like, now I'm an expert.
I would not tell that to my wife. Okay. I keep that away from her.
You won't let her do that. Okay.
No.
Don't let her listen to this episode of the
Sure.
podcast.
Fast forward that part. I'll do
Yeah.
this.
Nice. Okay. So you started playing with the band. So he gave you chords. He immediately saw you as a musician. I think that's awesome. And
Yeah.
so then what? Like, how long did it
so
take you to learn the chords and get to know how to do guitar
It took
stuff?
me about eight months just to be like very basic. But and then the school that I'm part of, I heard about this music school that was coming to town, and I asked what the vision is because I was reading a lot about leadership, John Maxwell, and I remember in one of the John Maxwell books he said, whenever you want to go in life, as far as ministry or career, find out what's the vision of that ministry, the organization you want to go to.
Find out their vision.
Is the vision, if the vision of the organization match with what you want to do, you should consider that. And then I always remember that. And then when I heard about the music school, I went and the vision was to develop the next generation. We said it, the next generation of worship leaders. And I was like, I want to be that. I want to be a worship leader. I want to be someone who can influence other people. And because at that age, starting music at 25 years old is a very late age thing, statistically speaking. But then I just felt in my heart that God wanted me to do that, and it changed my life.
Yeah.
I done and play and gone all around and sing with people that I would never thought of I could do it, and it's amazing. It's in times it gets challenged, but that's part of the process. That's the process that God will give you for you to grow and be a better leader. But I love it,
Yeah. And I think that's awesome that you started with, God, I want to do more for you. And then he showed you the next thing. It wasn't that you made this full life plan of what you want to do for God. It's that you just said, I'm open, right?
It just happened. Yeah. And then, being available just to see, show me what he wanted. And I felt that. And then I started singing when I was 27. So
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know this about you. I thought you were a seasoned musician.
No. What was fun is that my beginning years before, when I went to school, my first year was taking vocal classes and guitar classes and all that. One of my classmates, she was like, you play in one key and you sing in a different key. So I was like, thank you. I started, So then eventually I got what she was trying to say. But I think the more that you do it, anything or whatever you choose to focus on life and you put work on it, you get there. I think I can do through you many things if you don't put any. You just trust him.
Yeah.
Because I was like, God, do whatever you want me to do, God, I'll do it.
Wow.
And I'm always being willing to serve. Ask me what you want, I'll do it. Pick a cable, so this and that, So
that's good. So have you ever, like when you were a kid, did you play instruments or did you grow up with musicians around you?
Not at all. Actually, I think I am the first musician in my family.
Wow.
Yeah, I think God is changing the next generations in my family with, doing something different in me. And my daughters, I was telling you earlier that they hear and now they sing, they start getting a lot into it too. My oldest start showing interest in playing ukulele and playing piano.
Really? That's good. That's
so
awesome.
I never had that background musician experience. I just wanted to serve, and God changed that, put that in me.
Yeah. Right before we started recording, your kids were singing Into the Unknown from Frozen. They're like, ah.
They have a
like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You have a house full of musicians now. So that's so cool. Yeah. So what do you think it is about worship that is so important in the church? Like, why do we need to be there? Why does there need to be worship leaders? We'll be right back after this. Raising kids in the digital age isn't easy, but Bark Technology makes products that help parents keep their kids safe online and in real life. They have an app, a phone, and a home device that lets families set parental controls on their internet-connected devices.
I love the app because it helps us manage screen time and blocks websites and apps we want our kids to avoid. It also sends alerts and gives us the ability to monitor texts and social media and even track your child's location. Visit bark.us to learn more about how you can keep your kids safe online. Use the code COLLIDEKIDS to get 15% off your subscription of the Bark app.
Well, I think God created us to worship Him too. There's many ways that you can worship by reading the Word, being obedient to God. But I found a lot of strength by spending time in worshiping God. It's in life, me and my wife, we had gone through a lot of things in life, and one thing that always gave us strength was worship. We will find a lot of strength during worship. When our second daughter had a liver transplant, I remember the first weeks that we were going to the hospital. My wife, she would have to stay there for like 5 or 7 days sometimes. And the first week I remember seeing her. She was very, very stressed, sad, upset. Everything that's going on through your head when you have a baby that was 3 months old and didn't know what was going on with her.
Yeah.
But she had a damaged liver. And I told her, you know what? Next time you come, bring my other computer and put worship, because it changed everything in us. It changed our perspective. We get more peace, I think. And by worship, when we worship, we spend time with God.
Yeah.
And by spending time in God's presence, that's what changed us. God will sometimes won't change our situation, but it will change our perception about things that's going on in your life. So you will see things differently. So she did that. We had to, because during that season we had to be very consistent, like going back and forward. We would like go back home and spend 3 or 4 days at home, and the baby was so unstable that in order for the doctors to keep her stable, we had to go back and stay there for probably a few days. And then she did that the second time, and then I noticed how everything changed in her face. She was walking around. She had a lot of peace in the process. She was actually walking around to minister other moms that were in the same situation as her. And so worship for me is essential, and especially with this pandemic that we've been going through. It's I don't know how to describe it, but it's something that's really, it gives me peace. It helps me to see things more clearly.
Yeah, I think we're so blessed too to have so much worship music available. It's as far as Christian music, there's so many different places you can find music, and so much of the music has Bible verses that has scripture in it.
Exactly.
So when you're singing those words, you're singing the words of God, and that I think is powerful too. Like you said, it gives you peace and it changes your perspective. Thinking about families and thinking about kids, like how do you change? Because I know a lot of kids don't like worship music all the time. They rather listen to songs they hear on TikTok or songs that their friends are singing. What are some things that we could do to make worship a part of our family?
Well, we here at our house, we have a rule, and this is the rule. Every day when you wake up, before you watch any TV show on the TV, you gotta play at least 2 worship songs.
Oh, I like that.
And then, because I was, because my kids always will see me practicing or playing, or just like my wife posted videos, especially my daughter was singing in the piano, because she hear me practicing, or she hear that we always play music. But a couple of years ago, I noticed that they were get up early, first thing, watch the TV, and sometimes not having a prayer time, and sometimes we won't have a prayer time in the morning because just life gets, that's how it is. You wake up, you get busy, and then boom. So I told them, okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have from now on, every morning when you wake up, turn on the TV, you're gonna play 2 worship songs, and that's so that's one of the things that we do at home at our house. And a cool thing happened is that when we started doing that, they were in our church. They start having auditions because they want to have kids leading songs for Christmas, especially Mother's Day. So one of the songs that they picked was "Raise a Hallelujah," And
Oh,
my
yeah.
daughter, by the time that we started doing that is when that song came up. So, and that was the first song that my oldest would listen to. So she knew that song by heart.
Oh, that's
By the
good.
time that she went to the audition, she was picked to be one of the lead singers for the special, and she did it well. So
That's great. Wow. So there was a benefit to that on the other side. But I think beginning your day with worship just points you in the right direction, right?
point us in the right direction. Yeah, it's like I said, it's something is special about worship and music, and just not the music, but what's the message in the music? What are the words saying? The Bible scriptures. What are we talking about when we sing?
Right.
We start paying a lot of attention to what we say in the music, and I always try to teach my kids. We have devotionals. We pray every night or almost every night, and yeah, I think it's just implementing a culture of being intentional with your kids, with the family, and implementing a culture of worship. You don't have to be a musician to play to ask your kids play 2 songs on YouTube before you watch TV.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a musician. You just and then get involved in church. I think that's very essential. We're trying to stay very involved and connected with the church as much as we can. And yeah, I mean, it just my wife was sending me a text here that Michaela was 5 years old when she led worship for the first time.
Wow.
In that church.
5 years old.
Yeah, and
that's amazing.
She knew it. So so we don't have. I think my wife she has me. I think that's the balance between in our marriage that I'm more like, no, you gotta listen to the North Point Kids, album or this Bethel album or this.
Yeah.
My wife's like, no, calm down. Yeah, they're kids still. They have to.
Right.
They have to enjoy life.
But there are some good kids worship music, like stuff out there, and even some fun stuff like Seed's Family Worship is just memory verses, but it's set to music.
Nice.
It helps you remember the verse so well because you know the song and the melody. So stuff like that. There's kids stuff out there. For my family, I like to have Christian music on, like Christian radio and things like that on in our car. So every time we're in the car, I always try to put on, at least in the mornings headed to school, and where we're kind of doing stuff like that, where it's just the in and out traveling day to day. It's good to just have the Christian music playing, and we're learning new music, and we're hearing stuff we like, and but like you said, it just gives you that good perspective.
It's implementing a culture in the family, like deciding what do you wanna do when you're when you go in your vehicle. I think that's one of the things that we do too. We play worship music all the time. You get in my car, you will hear the Fish, or maybe my CD if it's in CD mode, or it's really. I think you have to be very intentional about what you and you are the father, you're the parent, your mom. You can decide what your kids can hear. Don't let the word to throw them. Educate your kids in their faith. Yeah, I think we have to play. We have to be very intentional.
Yeah.
And your kids, as they grow older, they will ask you a question. Why not this? Why not? They'll ask you the why, and be ready to answer those questions. I'll tell you that my wife is the best on that. She'll answer better the whys than me. I mean, like, no, because that's what we're supposed to do. Talk to your mom.
Go ask mom.
Go ask mom.
Yeah, I think I actually had a conversation about that with my kids recently, where they wanted to listen to a song that all their friends were singing at school or familiar with from YouTube. And I had to say, those are just not things in that song that you need to think about as an 8-year-old.
The message in the song, yeah.
That's right. Like the message in this, it's a cool beat and it's fun music, but the words are not good. I don't like the words. And so we had to just say, you can't listen to that one. But like, here's some other music that I know that's really good and has good message. And I think too, as parents, we have to set a good example. Like if we're listening to those things, it's different, that we're making sure our kids are following in our footsteps.
That's the biggest thing about it. If you don't ask your kids something that you're not willing to do.
Right.
If they're getting themselves into something, you might want to check, what are you doing in your free time? What are you listening to in your car? What are you saying? Well, my kids see that every day at home. and
Yeah.
then I don't have to come up with rules that everything that I'm asking to do is because I'm already doing it.
Yeah,
And they know
definitely.
it's legit, it's real. So
That's right. Yeah, definitely. So thinking about those kids that are maybe they have a good voice, or they look at people on stage at their church or on YouTube or whatever, and they think, I want to be on stage like that. What does it take to be like, what do they need to do to be a worship leader someday?
well, the first thing is understanding the role of a worship leader. You wanna and the role of a leader. A leader is someone who influencing other, has some kind of influence on other
Influence.
people,
Yeah.
and then you lead them to where we as a worship leaders we have to lead people to a place where we've been before. It's like Christine, if I ask you, I'm gonna take my kids and my wife to your house, but don't tell me how to get there. What's gonna happen? I'm gonna get lost because I don't know how to get there.
Right.
And a worship leader, our function is to know how to get into God's presence. Be involved in your church, have your devotionals, spend the private time in God's presence. And that's what God. That's how God is gonna take you. You can be a singer, that's fine, but you want to be a worship leader. It means that you will lead people into God's presence because you know how to get there. That's the main reason that we do what we do. It's not to see me playing. It's not to see me singing. If that's the
Right.
case, just there's a lot of good singers out there. Go,
Right.
you can go and pay a ticket. But it's if you have a desire to be a worshiper, make sure you ask God. God, I would like talk to God, pray
Yeah.
to Him. I would like to lead worship. I would like to do this, and I'm pretty sure that God will start processing you.
Right.
Because he the Bible said that he I know it in Spanish very well, but he can accomplish the desires of our hearts as long as they're aligned to what he wants for us. And a lot of times we don't receive because we don't ask.
Yeah.
And we don't ask because we don't have a prayer life.
Right. So it starts with prayer and spending time with God every day. All right, you got to tell us, what is that verse in Spanish? Say it in Spanish. Let's hear it.
El Señor te va a dar los deseos, va a cumplir los deseos de tu corazón.
Very good. I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
A nu corazón.
Corazón, right?
And Señor.
Yeah, and it is in Psalms 37:4. Actually says, "Love the Lord your God, and He will give you the desires of your heart." It's a different. There's different versions, but that's Psalms 37:4.
Read that one more time.
Let me put it in English. It's already in Spanish. I'll translate it. Ama al Señor con todo tu corazón, y Él cumplirá los deseos de tu corazón. So love the Lord with your heart, and He will give you the desires of your heart.
Yeah. So like you said, it starts with loving God. It starts with that time with God during the week, and then that becomes how you lead. Yeah,
and another thing is always stay connected with the local church. Whatever church you're going to, make sure you be really intentional about serving. Because for me, my main core value about worship is that we are here to serve. We're serving. So get involved in doing. I started doing sound. My plan was not to do worship at all.
Right.
I just wanted to serve God and be the sound guy, and God took it to another place. But yeah, get involved with your small group, get involved in church serving, and be consistent and be faithful in the process, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes you're going to want to be that person up front, but you might need to be behind the scenes first, or you might need to be the person that, watches for a while and learns, and then you can be up front. Because I think a lot of people, we see people up there and we think they just got it right away, but it takes a lot of work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a journey, because I think overall God is more interested in your character, who you are, in your person.
That's right.
Not really in what can He do, because He knows He can do anything through you.
That's right.
But it's more about your character. Can you handle a lot of influence? Are you humble? Can you lead others? Do you understand that the glory is for God, not for us?
That's right.
Can you die to yourself?
Yeah. Can you let other people succeed in front of you?
Yeah, exactly. Can you be
Yeah.
a platform? Can you be like, no, you go, God is
Right.
doing this, you pray for others, help others to become better. Can you do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna, because he knows that once the heart is in a good place, he can do what he wants to do through you.
That's right. That's so good. Before we close out, I wanted to ask you, I ask all my guests this, tell us just about when you were a kid. What was it like? Or do you have a fun memory from when you were a kid?
What a fun thing, I would say that I remember that my mom, she was a single mom, and it was my older sister and me. And every weekend, she will make plans to take us to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So she will work hard every week. If we will go early, super early to church, like 6 in the morning service. And then,
Wait, you had to go to church at 6 a.m?
yeah.
Wow.
Back then we used to go, this was years ago. So there used to be a service at 6 in the morning. And then after that, she will take us to breakfast. And then we will go to watch a movie.
Oh, okay.
So it was, I think that was one of the cool experience because we were spending time with mom and doing those. I would fall asleep in church, to be honest. That's the 6 in the morning.
I would think I would fall asleep at 6 a.m.
Right, it was like a 7. It was 6 to 7, but it was that early.
It felt like 6 a.m.
Yeah, probably. But it was super early. But I know it. It was just one of the coolest things that I was able to do with my mom, and I will never forget about it. So
That's very cool. I love that. Good story. Well, Irvin, thank you so much for being on the show. This has been so good and so informative. I hope that people will listen and will learn about being a worship leader, because I think it's an important job in the church for sure.
Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I can't wait to see you coming out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Have a good week.
You too.
How cool. It all started by his prayer, God, I want to serve you. Just being open to God to show you the next thing. And he just started somewhere. He just started being a helper. I think sometimes we wait for big things to happen to us. We might hope we'll be invited to do a big thing, but he just made himself available to do whatever God wanted him to do. And he started helping, and then he started working hard to learn music. And here he is, teaching at a school about music. That's incredible. What a great reminder of how important it is to listen to worship music every day. I love that idea about starting your day with listening to music about God. I think I'm going to try that. Every day before I touch my phone or turn on the TV or the iPad, I'm going to make worship music part of my morning routine. It's such a good idea and so easy. And I loved when he said, worshiping God might not change our circumstances, but it will change our perspective. So good. All right, now it's time for the kids only segment. This is so much fun. This is the part where you get to be on the podcast. Check this out.
What did one hat say to the other hat? You seem tired. Go take a rest and I'll go on ahead.
Go on ahead. I get it. That was a good one. Thanks, Bailey. That was good. All right, next up we have Alexa.
Hi, it's Alexa. I'm going to tell you a joke. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9.
Thanks, Alexa. Good job. I wonder if people's Alexas are going to go off when they hear this. Well, I'd love to hear from you as well. If you would like to be on the podcast, I'd love to have you. I would love for you to share with me your favorite Bible verse, or maybe a favorite encouraging quote or saying that you've heard from a book or a TV show or a movie, or you have a really funny joke like Bailey and Alexa. You can share those with me by having an adult help you go to my website for my podcast. It's anchor.fm/collidekidspod. And on that page, there's a place for you to leave me a message. You can find all this information on my social media pages as well. I'm on Facebook at the Collide Kids Podcast. I'm also on Instagram at Collide Kids Pod. I hope that you will share this podcast with someone that you love, someone that you're thankful for. Tell them about the show and subscribe to the podcast. That way, new episodes will automatically load each week into whatever podcast app you're using. Give us a rating, a good rating. I mean, that would be something I'm thankful for, and a review on your podcast app. That actually helps other people find out about the show so they can listen too. I hope this conversation has inspired you to be available to serve God, maybe through music or maybe through serving in your church or helping other people. In case no one has told you today, let me be the first to remind you that God loves you so, so much. Thanks for listening.
You don't have to go very far looking for bad news because somehow it just finds you. So finding peace in the chaos can be really difficult, but it doesn't have to be because the River mobile app exists. The River is a Christian music radio station dedicated to playing music to help you get through life's toughest moments or life's happiest moments and everywhere in between, and all from artists who love Jesus and are real people just like you. Listening is easy. You can download it wherever you get apps from. Just search 1049 The River or listen online at riverradio.com. And know that The River is proud to partner with the Collide Kids podcast.